Last night, while I was watching the news about, the whole New York Times article about Trump and his $1 billion that he owes to unknown creditors that the GOP doesn't seem to really care about, in the interest of national security, I watched the Iowa debate between the Senate candidates of Joni Ernst and I think Sarah Greenfield. I think her name is. I know her last name is Greenfield. I think her first name is Sarah. I'll have to look it up. But that being said, Iowa, I feel sorry for you because neither one of these people are really should be representing you in Congress. Number one, I still remember Ernst's rebuttal to, I believe, Obama's State of the Union, where she talked about pig castration. And let me tell you, in a national stage, after a State of the Union address, that you bring up about castrating pigs, I mean, seriously, come on. I mean, I still remember that moment. And I just, I saw somebody's comment on Facebook today about it, and I was just flabbergasted about it. But that being said, Ernst sat there and she was like, oh, well, we have a health plan. The GOP, since the passing of the Affordable Care Act, has stopped at nothing in the courts to try to repeal it. They tried to repeal it through Congress, didn't work. Now they're trying to go through the courts, and thank God, John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, was the deciding vote that still kept a stand and didn't strike it down. But she talks about this plan, all right? And Trump, he talks about this plan that he has. The GOP has this magical plan that's no one has seen that is going to reduce costs for healthcare and make sure there's a public option and cover everybody in the United States. And you have to laugh because you've now been in Congress 6 years and nothing has come out of you being in Congress. And nothing has come of this healthcare plan, okay? And not only that, but, she was dodging, they keep on using the radical left. I'm sorry, but if you are trying to take away pre-existing conditions and healthcare from millions upon millions of Americans, I think that's pretty radical. So this whole radical left moniker that they have truly is just stupid. And Greenfield, you missed situation after situation. I was very surprised that the moderator who was there from Sinclair Broadcasting was not that hard on Greenfield, and actually was a little bit harder on Ernst, because Sinclair Broadcasting and the Sinclair media empire truly do back Donald Trump. So I was very, very surprised at the kid gloves that were given to Greenfield by the Sinclair moderator. That being said, Greenfield missed opportunity after opportunity to nail Joni Ernst and nail the GOP hypocrisy of the past 6 years that she has been a part of to her. So how is Greenfield going to fight in Congress if she cannot even stand up in a debate and fight for herself? Minimum wage, she skipped around. Climate change, she skipped around. Immigration, she skipped around. She just gave these blasé answers. In Iowa, you deserve better. Every state deserves better. Minimum wage. She should have said, yes, I believe in a minimum wage. You know why? Because raising the minimum wage will help strengthen Social Security and Medicare because of payroll taxes. Immigration. Every economist, every noteworthy economist says that bringing immigrants out of the shadows, which there are 18 million of them, would inject $500 billion into GDP. Not only that, once again, besides raising minimum wage, helping us to secure Social Security and Medicare, bringing these immigrants out of the shadows and allowing them to be residents and allowing them to pay into Social Security and Medicare also would shore up the program. Back when Social Security was founded, I think it was something like 13 workers or something like that, and now it's down to like 4 workers per Social Security Medicare beneficiary, right? So immigration, if you're here illegally, I'm sorry, we'll give you residency, but unless you are a member of STEM or you are a business owner, that's your path to citizenship. Any person who was a child and was brought here without their knowledge, yes, they should be given the path to citizenship. They're here now. To send them to another culture that they don't understand is just detrimental. And if they're already a valued member of society and being in school or have a job and paying in Social Security and Medicare, why are you gonna take them away? Like, it doesn't make it economically. It does not make any sense, and you're not going to be able to deport 18 million people. It's not possible, because for every one that you deport, another one comes in. So you need to strengthen the borders. You need to strengthen what comes in. No wall. A wall is stupid. You can get around the wall. You can dig underneath the wall. So there has to be more accountability. And not only that, but immigrants, I see the day work in my own neighborhood. I see the day workers who stand on the street corners looking for work. All right. These are the same people who hire the day workers who have Trump Pence bumper stickers on their trucks and on their construction trucks. But meanwhile, they're hiring undocumented workers at cheaper labor and giving them horrible working conditions. And on top of that, they're not paying, now on the employer side, they're not paying Medicare and Social Security payroll taxes. So please stop that. We're going to get rid of all these immigrants and all those other things. Violent immigrants have a violent past. Yes, they should be sent back. That's what Greenfield should have said last night. Climate change, ethanol. Listen, we're converting our transportation system. Either we're going to move to hydrogen or we're going to move to electric vehicles. It is the future, okay? There was one time when the electric car came out that everybody said, oh no, we're never going to do away with horses. But we did away with horses, right? Same thing's going to happen with with the gas vehicles that we have today. We know, unless you want to stick your head in the sand, that oil is hurting our climate, releasing these toxic gases into the climate, right? And now you have ethanol, which takes up valuable land for food. So all you had to say last night when it came to ethanol and climate change, all you had to say was, listen, we're transitioning to a new transportation system, but that does not mean that people in the world do not need to get fed. And so American farmers, instead of growing corn, now they're going to grow something else. And we're going to make sure that we open world markets to these farmers to sell their soy or whatever crop that they grow once they've transitioned away from corn. Okay? That was the easy answer. Okay? Police reform. Yes, she should have said, I believe in police reform. Okay? Transparency and accountability. Those are the two norms that we have. We're never going to defund the police. We need the police. The police are a valuable part of society. Oh, and by the way, we pay for the police, so that's socialism, okay? So, but we have to have police accountability, and we have to have transparency. We have to have body cameras. We have to have all those things, because it's better to give all this preventative stuff so that we don't have the bad stuff that is happening now. And on top of that, we need to train our citizens, or I want to say our first responders, or our safety net, our civil safety net, that police aren't called for things that they're not trained for. Medical emergencies or mental health things, or maybe social things that police are not trained for. They should not be responding to those calls. So maybe we need to train a different sort of force to take care of those things other than crime. Police cannot be the Band-Aid for all the ills of society, and that is the onus that we placed upon the police department. And that's what she should have said, okay? And she should have hammered about law and order, that, for a law and order president, he breaks the law a lot. So I don't want to hear that the GOP are law and order. What was the other thing that really upset me about the Greenfield debate? So it was climate change. I think those are the major ones. All right, but Iowans, neither one of them are really. I don't know. You got to grow a bone. You gotta do what's right. And even if it hurts to say the truth, you can't just play both sides of the the Postal Service. Postal Service. The United States Postal Service was founded before the country was founded. That is incredible. On top of that, it is a cherished institution, but as all institutions, it must mature. So what do we need to do with the postal service? Keep its mandate that it has now to deliver mail that it has, but especially in a place like Iowa that has a lot of rural counties, I mean a lot of rural areas and counties, use the postal service to provide simple banking services for where the big banks do not do any banking because of lack of customers, and also to bring broadband internet to those rural areas to get the last mile to that acreage or the last mile to that farm, and where they team up, with private partnerships. How can you have remote learning, especially now in times of a pandemic, and not have the infrastructure in place that these children need in order to learn? It's just it's so stupid. Oh, and education. They asked about forgiveness of student loans. Yes, there should be some looking into the forgiveness of student loans, but also you need to build a better model when it comes to higher education. And state universities and community colleges can become the new standards of higher education. How? Community colleges can team up with communities where maybe you can have vocational schools and technical schools in community colleges. And then state universities should be the hotbed of technological advance, especially when it comes to basic science. We do not invest in basic science like we once did. We put a man on the moon, and back then we invested heavily in basic science. Now as a country, we do not invest heavily in basic science. Why? Because everything has to have a price tag on it. If it doesn't make $1, we don't want to invest any money in it. And that cannot be the case, especially when it comes to basic science and when it comes to vocational schools and things of that nature. We should be investing heavily in state universities and in community colleges in order to catch up to the rest of the world. So, Iowans, I feel for you, but, they both skipped around the issues last night. And Greenfield, she needs to grow a backbone and say, this is what we need to do. Listen, you're not going to get everybody, but if you work for the common good of most people are going to follow you. So please, 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 Greenfield, grow a set before you get pig castrated by Ernst. Thanks.